Warren Buffett.
I love Warren. Yeah. The three sisters adore Warren Buffett.
Okay, well, I'm glad I'm asking you this question. Said that...
I knew someone was going to, and you were the last name in the box, so I'm really glad it came up.
Well, then you probably know what he said.
Go ahead, ask the question, though, for everyone else in the room.
Well, Warren Buffett yesterday said that he thinks that people who are billionaires, that's a technical term, should be taxed more. And I'm scared that a billionaire is saying that out loud on TV. I'm not scared, but my question is just about I feel like for this change that we're going through, that it has to be catastrophic. And but now I'm starting to realize it doesn't have to be catastrophic. And could you just maybe talk a little bit about the change in the Enlightenment and...
Yeah.
Okay. Was that enough?
Yeah, I guess. First of all, anyone who doesn't know Warren Buffett, he's one of the richest men on the planet. He built his way up from nothing. He acknowledges that he's been lucky, and he appreciates where he is, and he has appreciation for the working class people. And he's not exactly a Democrat because he's a billionaire, but at the same time he knows what's good for America in general is good for the people who are very wealthy, because the better Americans do, the better the wealthy do. That's his there's more to it, but that's a little simplified. So, and the statement he made, and so if you're interested in learning more about him or hearing the great review of that conversation, he wrote an open letter in the New York Times a few days ago with his suggestions toward what the Congress should do as far as the financial system in the country goes. And then he was interviewed by Charlie Rose, and I adore Charlie Rose. Really adore him a lot. He's an amazing human being. So it's a little background for those who aren't keeping up on the politics. And according to the three sisters, there's no point in ever reading the paper or watching the news or getting involved at all in common stuff. At the same time, I love reading the news, and I love reading about finance, and I love seeing the examples of law of attraction that show up there. And so much of it's created by default, and yet there are people like Warren Buffett who are utilizing the vibration of the universe to make millions of dollars. And he's really above board and face forward and a great example, right? That living by example versus living by words and, saying one thing and doing another. So the silly thing is, Enlightenment, it's just a concept. Politics, just a concept. Joy, just a concept. Law of attraction, just a concept. We can choose to believe whatever we want to believe. Using the Warren Buffett example, because it came up for me earlier today, and I knew it was going to come up tonight, so just utilizing that. He had an outlook that, well, of course, something rough did happen. We weren't paying attention. We sort of made some bad choices, and this was the outcome. And hopefully we'll learn from that. And I see that it's behind us, that we're moving toward a better future, that things are getting better every day, that business is doing really well, that eventually, so long as the mindset of the people does not become so negative that it spirals out of control, that as soon as they start accepting that things are okay too, that things will get better, and it's only 1 million houses away. Now, it was 100 million houses, or whatever it was, 60 million houses 3 years ago. But there's only 1 million houses left that need to be caught up. And then he said, my grandson's getting married this weekend. He's about to start a new household. That's another one off the market. And he had this really positive outlook about where we're all headed. And business is in a better place than it's ever been before. Banking's back on track. Oil's back on track. The country is producing more jobs every month. There's more exports going on every month. The outlook is incredibly positive for the future. It doesn't mean there aren't challenges ahead, but we can not hit them. We can be ahead of the curve. We can create new law, new practice, new ideas. Congress, this is why he wrote the letter to them, to get them out ahead of the curve. That it's hard work, but it's not really that hard. The choices are simple. And people like me are happy to pay more money, because when you look at the history of finance in America, whenever, it doesn't matter how high the taxes are. He said, if I call you up as a Warren Buffett, right, the richest man who's tuned into everything financial in the country, if I call you up in the middle of the night and wake you up and say, listen, I got a great deal, we're going to make a lot of money, but I need your 10 grand or your 10 million or your 100 billion tomorrow, It's me calling. Do you really care in the long run what the tax rate is? Of course not. You know? It doesn't matter what the tax rate is. If you believe in the law of attraction, which he really does, he never says those words out loud, but he acts it. You see it every moment. Abraham has talked about this too. It's in the persona of law of attraction, the concept of law of attraction. The idea that it doesn't matter what the tax rates are. Tax me as much as you want. I'll make more. There's no shortage in this country. There's no shortage in this world. I can make as much as I ever want. I can have as much as I want. And if you want to take more of it for taxes, fine. I'll just make more. Right. And that's Warren Buffett's concept. There is no shortage. There's no shortage conscious. There's no ceiling. There's no bottom. It's an ever-expanding universe. You know, and he said, think about how things were 50 years ago. If you told me an average guy on a boat is going to be making $100,000, I would have laughed in your face. As people are making, what, $100 a week? Doing that job? Things change, things grow, things expand. And Abraham talked about that. Just a few hundred years ago, there was no finance. You were trading beads and furs and chickens. Right? And now it's all paper that doesn't exist. It's not even paper. It's all digital. Right? It's money being moved all the time. It's all digital. It doesn't exist. Right? It's not even a shell game. It just doesn't exist. There's no physical currency. It's all digital. Do you know what I mean? There's no such thing as hard currency, and there never was. And all the dips that have ever happened throughout history prove that. One day the dollar's worth $1, one day the dollar's worth 50 cents, one day the dollar's worth $1.50. What do you mean? It's still $1. Do you know what I mean? So as far as all of that creation goes, it's law of attraction. And it's about the belief system. It's everything we've been talking about. It's about aligning with your vision. It's about creating a vision and aligning with it, creating a vision and believing it, creating a vision and seeing it. And those of you who've been doing this are seeing your lives improve every single day. And you're aligning better with your success, and you're aligning better with your abundance, and you're aligning better with your spirituality, and you're aligning better with your team, and you're aligning better with people who will help you along, and you're aligning better with everything. Right? That's law of attraction. And that's enlightenment. That is enlightenment. The knowledge of a belief. The knowledge of your place in your own universe. Your knowledge of your selfish journey that causes the expansion of all that is. Me, just one little guy, is expanding God. Better yet, me, one little guy, is God, because I'm part of all that is. We're all God. We're all each other. And it's how we can be on our selfish journey. Right? Because the idea that we always have to be helping somebody as doing something or manifesting something for others is a little silly. Because what it really means, by me having my emotional selfish journey in physical, I'm expanding all that is. And we are all part of all that is. So we are all benefiting from my selfish journey. And your selfish journey, and your selfish journey, and your selfish journey. Every single breath we take is expanding all that is. And that is how it all works. And enlightenment is the knowledge, simply the knowing that I'm part of all it is, and I'm expanding the universe, and we are all benefiting from my journey. That is what enlightenment is. It isn't some lofty, huge event. The skies are going to open and they're going to turn green and flip the world upside down, and our computers will no longer work, and we're going to have to think of a new way of living. It's acknowledging that we're already coming up with a new way of knowing, a new way of experiencing the universe. And we are doing it in a collective way because we're sitting here having conversations like this in groups all over the world, all over the planet, all over the universe, bringing our energy together, our knowing together, expanding our knowledge, and accepting this is where we are. And we're here because we chose to be here. And when we choose not to be here, we can leave. And when we choose to, after we leave, we can come back again into physical and bring more knowledge and knowing with us. And the nice thing about making a transition is, well, we get out of this one where we didn't catch up with ourselves, because you can never fully catch up with your inner being because you're always expanding, so it's always moving, so you can only do your best to catch up with it as far as you can when you're in physical. You go into non-physical, you catch up. Whee! Take the ride. And then it's like, okay, now what? You got to come back into physical and be separate from yourself again so that you can expand some more and have the journey. So enlightenment is simply the knowing of some concepts. Being aware, being in tune, being connected, knowing you're connected, knowing you're part of all that is. And the truth is, it doesn't matter whether you're aware of it or acknowledge it or not. You're still going to have a journey. Right? But one of the points of this time of enlightenment is the journey can be so fun here in physical. The game can be amazing when you acknowledge that I'm aware of it. But it can also suck. Because when you accept responsibility that you're responsible for every single moment that happens in your life, you have created every moment, every breath, every experience, every emotion is your responsibility. No one can do anything to you. All you can do is align. So anything that happens to you is just you aligning with others and the energy of the universe aligning with you. You are fully responsible for everything that happens to you. Everything. And if you don't feel good, that sucks to know. That you created this ill feeling, this negative, right? But when you're aware of it, you can go, oh, well, why did I create this? That's what so many people do as they step into this journey. Why did I do this? Why? I would never do it. I would never create something to make myself feel this bad. I would never do that. You're insane. This isn't real. Right? But the truth is, we don't have to know how we got here. All we have to know is where we are at this moment and where we want to be in the future. And the future could be a second from now, a second from now, a second from now, or 10 years from now, or 50 years from now. Right? That's one of the reasons that we've always had pieces of this puzzle on a general framework. The whole idea of goal setting, it's been very big my whole life. Set a goal, work toward a goal, work hard. And then sometimes you achieve your goal with that old model, right? The 5-year plan, the 10-year plan. Remember doing those in school and stuff, right? Businesses do it. Finance does it. It's big in kind of a lot of things. They teach you how to do it in school. And yet, so many of us attain our goals sort of by accident because we work so hard, we're so in the way, we're so not aligned with the goal that when we sort of stumble across it, it doesn't even seem sometimes like it was worth getting there because you work so hard to get there and that's it. The idea of, I've never had one, but I think the idea of like planning a wedding, right? That it's such you work toward it, you dream about it, you work toward it, you spend all this money, you work toward it, you get all these other people involved, you work toward it, you work toward it, you work toward it, and then, 3 hours it's over, 4 hours it's over. And it's like, that was it? So many people at the end say, that was it? What's the point of that? And there are so many people right now on their deathbeds saying, that was it? They still haven't aligned. And all they're saying is, I worked this hard this long, and now I'm in the nursing home that Social Security won't pay for. This is it. This wasn't worth it. And then the really exciting, cool thing happens. They finally make their transition, and they go, whee! Oh my gosh, it was so worth it. Because all the challenges and all the choices and all the challenges and all the choices, they kept expanding and just didn't keep up. So the further away you are from keeping up, the greater the ride is when you whoosh through, right? So that's my point of, it doesn't matter whether you're aware of enlightenment or not, whether you're aware of alignment or not, whether you're aware of law of attraction or not. We came here into physical to have a physical experience. And for many of us that we all know, our circle, right, and maybe the next ring out, we're having our experience through this emotional tuned-in journey. This enlightenment, this spiritual journey. And it's very important. Those words are important to us. They have great meaning to us. Spirituality and enlightenment and awakening and angels and archangels and guides and shamanism and whatever. I think I got almost everybody here, right? I mean, whatever the words are, right? Whatever the energy words. Oh, Reiki, I left that one out, Right. Astral projection. I mean, whatever your thing is, right? UFOs, that's a big one. You find people and align with people who believe what you believe. And then you sort of nudge each other because you're all in slightly different places, and that helps our expansion. But